By tradition, people in Taiwan eat rice dumplings and hold dragon boat races to commemorate the ancient Chinese poet Qu Yuan. A lot of uncertainty still surrounds Amy's plan to study abroad. She isn't sure if the university she applied to will accept her.
Taiwan is surrounded by the sea, so it has beautiful beaches and a rich variety of seafood.
Over the years, the small store has evolved into a shopping mall, and its profits have increased rapidly. The Lanes go to church every Sunday morning to listen to the minister preach the Bible. The Greek army raided the city of Troy in the dead of night, and this attack brought an end to the long war.
The police raided the disused factory and found a group of people gambling there.
Thousands of workers labored for years to dig the tunnel through the mountain. Exposed to the Quran during her long stay in Iran, Molly was converted to Islam. Exposed to the Quran during her long stay in Iran, Molly was converted to Islam. With her health worsening, Ms. Russell retired from the company and moved into a nursing home. To create a better atmosphere in the office, the manager adopted a friendly approach to dealing with the employees.
People who cannot have children of their own often choose to adopt orphans.
Toby's sister pinched him sharply on the ear because he said something he shouldn't have said. Noah is very religious, and he is determined to enter the priesthood in the future. Most of the residents in the town are immigrants. People from different countries moved here and started their new lives. By setting up hospitals and schools in the country, the religious group tried to make their mission succeed.
The rescue team was sent to the desert. Its mission was to find the wounded soldiers and bring them home safely.
The bishop told several stories about Jesus Christ while delivering a sermon on forgiveness. Before the Civil War, many African people were taken from their countries and sold into slavery in America. Shepherds are usually assisted by trained dogs to control their flocks. Many animals in the zoo have lived in captivity since birth. When we thanked Hank for his generous assistance, he replied with modesty that it was the least he could do for us. Every high school in the educational system exists as a separate entity. They are all run independently of one another. Environmental damage is a threat not only to all humanity, but also to other living things. According to an international survey, William Shakespeare is the United Kingdom's greatest cultural icon.
If you want to close the window, you should click on the icon with a cross in the top right corner of the screen.
The Rose Parade is held every New Year's Day, and it always features flower-covered floats and marching bands. Steve had a perilous journey through Mexico, where he was robbed and kidnapped by the local gangsters. Peggy has a magnetic personality, and everyone loves being around her.
The decoration is made of magnetic materials, so it can be stuck onto a metal surface.
Because of engine problems, the flight bound for Paris was forced to turn back 20 minutes after taking off. Millions of tourists from around the world visit the holy city of Jerusalem every year. The plane is going to take off in 10 minutes. In the meantime, please be seated. Upon hearing the alarm, the thief took flight and ran out of the house. Zoe bought some lucky bags during the New Year on the off chance that she would win a big prize. After getting married, Mr. and Mrs. Carter decided to move to the countryside and settle down there. Confucianism has taken root in Chinese culture over the past 2,000 years.
I suggest that you plant the tree near the garden where there will be enough room for it to take root.
Jim's grandfather passed away last week. His funeral was held yesterday. Ken took a trip to Australia and visited the Sydney Opera House, AMP Tower, the Gold Coast, and so forth. Falling on the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day is a significant holiday in the West. If you have ever experienced St. Patrick's Day, you have probably seen people decorating their houses in green on this day, and have learned that this is part of Irish culture. However, who is St. Patrick? Why do people observe this day? St. Patrick is a patron saint who is famous for preaching Christianity to the Irish. While much of his life is clouded by legend, there are a few generally agreed upon facts. Most historians believe that he was born in Wales around 385 AD, and that his given name was Maewyn instead of Patrick. Far from being a saint, Maewyn thought of himself as a pagan until the age of 16. At that age, he was kidnapped by some Irish marauders who had raided his village. He was then sold into slavery in Ireland, where he worked as a shepherd. During his captivity, he turned to God. In the meantime, he began to have religious visions and dreams. In one dream, he was shown a way to escape from Ireland by going to the coast and getting on a ship. Therefore, he took flight on the off chance. After a perilous journey of hundreds of miles, he arrived at the coast and discovered a ship bound for Britain. Finally, he was free after having been a slave for 6 years. Later, he went to France, where he entered a monastery and studied for the priesthood for 12 years. This was when he became aware that his calling was to try to convert pagans to Christianity. At the same time, he changed his name to Patrick, which means father of his people in Latin. After finding his true spiritual self, Patrick felt confident that he could answer the call to care and labor for the salvation of others. He returned to Ireland as a bishop around 432 AD, traveled around the island to spread the word of God, and established monasteries across the country. He also set up schools and churches, which aided him in converting the Irish people to Christianity. Patrick's modesty, magnetic personality, and knowledge of the social structure in Ireland made his mission a success. After 30 years of being a missionary in Ireland, Patrick eventually settled down in a place called County Down and retired. By the time of his death, Christianity had taken root in almost all of Ireland. The day he passed away has been commemorated as St. Patrick's Day ever since. There are numerous legends surrounding St. Patrick's life, and one of these is that in his sermons, Patrick used the shamrock to explain the Trinity. With 3 round leaves on each stem, the shamrock served as a perfect example of how the Father, the Son, and the Spirit could all exist as separate elements of the same entity. His followers adopted the custom of wearing a shamrock. As a result, the color green and the shamrock have both become the traditional icons of the day. Though St. Patrick's Day is originally a holy religious time, it has evolved into more of a secular holiday. On this special day, people watch parades, hold festivals, wear green clothes, drink green beer, and so forth. Children in Ireland even have a tradition of pinching their friends who don't wear green on this day. In fact, St. Patrick's Day is celebrated not only in Ireland, but also around the world nowadays. Irish immigrants celebrate it to remember their roots, while other people celebrate it because it comes a few days before the first day of spring. Yet, no matter why people celebrate this holiday, St. Patrick's Day is definitely one of humanity's cultural treasures.